You are by far the most excruciating, difficult, stubbornly obnoxious woman I've ever met in my entire life. I fucking love you.
Give me your pain. Give me your sorrow.
Hi.
Greetings.
How's it going? Pleasure to see you.
Yeah, it's my pleasure, actually. I'm trying to be calm. Congratulations for the film. I really liked it.
Thank you. Thank you.
I think that quarantine helped both you and me, actually, because before the pandemic, I was an insensitive film critic, and during the quarantine, I became a famous live broadcast show host. And you guys made a bold and creative and beautiful film under these difficult and deadly conditions. And after I saw that film, I thought that quitting my job as a film critic was a clever move for me. And what about you guys, actually? What kind of quarantine experience was Malcolm and Mary for you?
Malcolm and Marie was a special experience. I've never experienced anything like it in my life. I hope to, do it a million times, but this sense of like family that was created, this sense of collaboration that we all were like, not only just financially invested in this, but emotionally invested in this. We're able to bring our life and our experiences to it. I think everybody was working and doing 5 different jobs at the same time because we had such a small crew. But with that being said, everyone had each other's back. And being so collaborative and so involved in something from its inception, I think is so special because you get to watch the characters be formed and even influence how they're being formed, which I've never even like to have a dream role written for me, right? But then it's like that's crazy, for it to be something I've always wanted to do, and I get to be a part of it, and I get to like share this with people that I care about. It's so special, and I think that I'm equally proud of the movie, but I'm also proud of how we made it and how we made it together. I would say.
What kind of quarantine experience was Malcolm and Mary for you? How was the shooting progress like in days of pandemic?
A relief, a safe haven, a lighthouse. It was a hopeful experience because at the time, I didn't know if I was ever going to act again. I didn't know what the business was going to look like. I thought I was going to be on a world tour selling a Christopher Nolan film. So I wasn't sure what was going to happen. So the fact that we were able to do this, I was excited about. Didn't even know if people were going to see it. I thought maybe this will be for family and friends because we paid for it ourselves. No studio backing. Which was exciting, which put the pressure on us to be great as best as we could be. But it just also meant that we dictate the rules, the pace, what we wanted to do, we could do as a community. So it was great. I love that.
Cool. I think in your works, main characters who are suffering of addiction give us some clues about your point of view on this sensitive subject. Instead of patting your characters' backs, you choose to portray them as they are, actually. We can see Mary's every single dilemma, frustration, and strain in your performance, Zendaya. How did you create that balance?
I mean, it's I think it's like I said, back to like this collaboration thing, because there's so much of myself in Marie, there's so much of Sam in Marie, but then also to a degree, it's a fictional character that I think doesn't feel like either of us. And so it's like balancing all these kind of perspectives and whatever in one individual and one human. And I think very similar to Rue in the respect that, I love characters that have layers to them and have a past and history and a darkness and a deep beauty to them, because it allows me to uncover all those things. And it also, I think for both characters, what Sam is so great at is he's great at giving you characters that are aren't perfect, you know, and do things that you may find are irredeemable or totally wrong, but then for some reason you also root for them, and you love them, and you have empathy for them. And so to me, it's always a fun challenge to have these characters that are layered and have these things that people may disagree with, even myself and even Sam, but then finding a way to get people on your side, you know, and for people to, I think, strip back their preconceived notions about how they would, you know, originally feel about a character, and strip all of that away and just see them for the human being and the flawed human being that they are. And I think that in and of itself is a balance, because none of us are perfect and none of us have done everything right. So I think we all have to have a little bit more empathy, starting with these characters.
Thank you. Somehow, Malcolm and Mary is not a film about a toxic relationship, actually. Audience's point of view changed nearly every single minute in the film. We don't judge Malcolm or Mary in any scene. How did you create that balance on your role?
Well, thank you for saying that, because I've been getting told for a couple of people, I've been told, they've been telling me, oh, he's a villain. I didn't like him. They've been siding with her. So it's music to my ears. You know, to me, like you say, they're both responsible for each other and for the nature of their relationship. You know, I think personally they're mature in some ways, that they do listen to each other. They only talk over each other a couple times in the film, but they let each other finish. They let each other finish their sentences, their thoughts, and then they respond. You know, I do disagree with some of his tactics, Malcolm's tactics, but I do understand and appreciate both of their honesty. I think that's what love should be. Love should be honest. You should be, if you can handle real love, then you should be able to handle the truth about yourself, about one another. And I also believe that because of that truth, that you're making a choice to be there. Love is about choice, not need, you know, in this case. And that's what they talk about as well. So I agreed with that. And I believe that.
Yeah, I feel like the same, actually. Your role has so many colors and references on great directors of today's cinema, like Barry Jenkins and Spike Lee. And what about your favorites? Which directors influence you the most in today's cinema?
Well, you know, looking at actors, but I mean, those two directors are definitely, it's crazy. I've gotten to work with some of my heroes, but that being Spike Lee and Christopher Nolan, who I have them on the Mount Rushmores. You know, they're like the Hall of Famers, you know. I was looking at movies too from Cassavetes, like Faces and Opening Night. You know, loved his films. You know, I mean, when I think about actors too, performance, I think about a Denzel Washington, I think about a De Niro, I think about Jack Nicholson, who I just love. I love everything he does. You know, it's just some of, you know, Gene Hackman's of the world. You know, I love, you know, Tony Scott, what he was able to do. I mean, Man on Fire is one of my favorite films of all time. So just, you know, I just think in a different, and I imagine what their frustrations are. I imagine what they love about film. And, you know, I try to incorporate some of that into the character.
And lastly, for those who admire the movie, may I ask you to recommend some films or series or books or songs that are on the same emotional wavelength with the film?
Virginia Woolf, maybe. I'd say, I mean, a big one for me is I said before, it was Faces or Opening Night, Cassavetes. I mean, that is that's a emotional roller coaster. There's a song I really love that's played at the end to end the credits that I really connect to. It's just like the true American artist it's sort of like a blues song. It's kind of a sad thing. It's called Liberation by Outkast, featuring Erykah Badu. They play it to end the credits. I love that song, and it really sort of embodies, you know, what Malcolm's talking about in some of those rants.
Thank you so much, John. I think we are all can see your spirit in your roles, and so congratulations for everything.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
I had a question for you also, Sam, but I think that's a wrap. Or can I ask?
You want to say something, Sam?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think you are probably the best couple to establish the connection between Generation Y and Generation Z, I think. So Sam, how can you deal with having such a big influence on young people?
I tend not to think of filmmaking as anything other than kind of a portrait of being a human being, and I think that extends to all generations. I think the power of filmmaking lies in its empathy and the audience's ability to understand what life might be like through someone else's shoes. And that, I think, is the only guiding principle of it. Obviously, people interpret things in a million different ways. But I think that the main thing that I care about is that we look at individuals for who they are and who they want to be, and not judge them for every individual kind of action or misstep or mistake, because I think part of life and the beauty of life is growing and becoming a better person, a kinder person, a more responsible and empathic person. And I think that's the only thing that I sort of think about when working.
Mm-hmm. Thank you, guys. I think you are beautiful rebels. Thank you.
Thank you.
I will carry you. I will carry